I am very excited to have our very own Director of SEO, Kaylee Peterson, join her first Content Matters show. Kaylee, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
You're welcome. I love that everyone gets to experience your little like mermaid moment that's happening right now.
New year, new me. I'm lava girling it up right now. I
Lava
think
girl.
it's really getting the creative juices flowing. It's really
Which
helped.
you know what? Creativity and SEO actually do go hand in hand, despite what
Yes.
people might think.
Yeah, it is not just a data field. It is
It's
the
not.
left and the right brain. It's a whole brain field.
We love left and right brain things. It's why we love marketing, because you need both.
Exactly.
Okay, I had to bring you on the show because there is this new trend in SEO, as there always is,
Mhm.
of this idea of like, there's no more SEO, the search engine optimization is dead. Instead, think of like answer engine. Is that even what answer AEO, like answer
Yeah.
forward, answer first? Like, is this a trend we should be paying attention to? Is this the new era of SEO? Is your title now actually director of AEO? Tell us what we should be paying attention to.
Yeah. I think if I got paid every time someone said SEO is dead, I could retire by now. Every year there's something new. AEO is one of those. I think it's an interesting concept. So
What is
AEO,
okay? I was gonna say, yeah.
yeah,
What is the
we'll
concept?
start with what is it? AEO's answer engine optimization. It has a lot of other names. I've heard generative engine optimization, but the short and long of it is basically instead of just capturing your standard Google search, you're going after the AI search engines, the Bard, the ChatGPT, going after voice search, so the Alexas, the Siris of the world. Basically, any way that people search that isn't typing a query into Google is trying to be captured by AEO. But at its core, I think most of it is still SEO, which is what we're finding. Google really nailed those principles and really nailed the algorithm when they first built it. And so even as it continues to evolve, I think we still end up going back to those really basic SEO principles too. We just love to put new names and tie things up in shiny new bows.
Right. Well, that's how we go viral on LinkedIn and generate a whole new bunch of demand. Hey, do not knock a marketer. Say that 5 times fast. We are
Exactly.
doing our best, and if AEO gets someone in, I'm not going to judge you for it. But it's still search. It's just I think the goal of search has always been understanding the intent, understanding user behavior, how does someone want to find information. And now it just happens to be that it's a little more answer based. It's more question and answer. People are leaning into long tail questions. Like I had a prospect I was talking to. The prompt he told me he used in order to find Composely, I mean, it was like the longest, most thorough prompt I've ever seen. The amount of long tail keywords in this thing that no one would ever put into Google because you just didn't think that Google would be able to handle that. And so it's just an evolution, but maybe it sounds like not a net
Yeah,
new principle.
I think evolution's the perfect word for it. I think SEO has had a lot of different versions of itself throughout the year for sure. And I think when we look at AEO and the way the AI search models are working, it just comes back to people will always ask questions. Until the end of time, people are going to ask questions. What changes is where they ask those questions and how they ask those questions and how they expect to get those answers. I think when you look at SEO, you used to have to expect to sort through a website and really scroll and click through 2, 3 pages of search results to
Yeah,
get
it's
what you
like
wanted.
Encyclopedia Britannica. Find the index on the page and
You have to
look
really
through.
used to do some research. You really had to look for what you wanted back in the day. And now we're in a place where Google's whole goal is you just never leave Google. You get it right there, 0 click search, an AI overview, there's your answer, and you go. And we know that those aren't always accurate, and people's search habits are habits, so it may be a long time before we get really away from Google. But I do think the people that are going after AEO are really honed in on something's changing. Something feels different. The way that content ranks feels really different. So when we look at making a shift, it's not even really getting away from SEO. It's kind of just adding on, how do we do what we know works, what's always worked, and also make sure we're capturing these new ways to search and these new ways to be found too.
So yeah, how do we do that? Because it doesn't sound like we can just keep going after a list of keywords and magically see organic success.
Yeah, I think what we've seen so far in terms of what's working for AI search results, AI overviews, answer, whatever you want to call it, is that a lot of it is question and answer based, and a lot of it is how easily consumable is your content. Because at the end of the day, humans are rating your content. The goal is that they get to your site, they read the content, they love it, they convert, you get leads, it's great. But to get in front of humans, that content's read by essentially a robot, first and foremost. Google crawlbot, by the AI crawlbots. And what we know now about a lot of, especially the AI crawlbots, is that in essence, they're kind of lazy. If they can't easily scan your content and get the answer, they move on or they make it up, which I think anyone who's used ChatGPT has noticed, like, you have to kind of go back and forth to get, are you sure that's right? Did you really look at the website? So I think we know that they're not as thoroughly crawling websites as we'd hope they would be to be a search engine. What that tells us about building content in SEO is that it's got to be scannable. It's got to be really modular. It's got to be packaged so that anyone, robot, human, can open a web page, ask a question, and get an answer right off the bat. And on our end, what we're doing to kind of update to that is adding things like key takeaway summaries. So the article starts with, here's the 4 highlights, the big ideas that you want to know. Is this what you're looking for? And if it is, cool, we're going to expand on it below this. Using more questions in content, so using questions as headers and making sure the first sentence of that paragraph quickly answers the question. So you have a really clear question and answer, and then you expand on that question afterwards. So we get more into the weeds. And using FAQs, huge. I think that's been a long time SEO practice is FAQs, but using FAQs to almost conclude and summarize the articles. So even if they feel a little repetitive, you have a really clear conclusion section that is question, answer, here's everything people usually ask about this kind of content, and putting good structured data on there, good schema that says this is an FAQ section, this is a how-to section, this is a data set. Because again, when the robots read it, they're looking for really quickly, where are my questions and answers? And do they exist here? And if they do, cool. And if they don't, I'm on to the next. So it's not really anything different than what we've been doing at Composite. Has been doing content SEO for a long time, and our philosophy has always been good, easy, nice to read content people want to read and enjoy. And that's kind of the same principle. It's just really, does this answer the question? Does it clearly and concisely? And on the back end, is it technically organized so anything, robot, crawler, whatever you want to call it, can quickly scan the content and know they're getting what they're looking for?